This is the way. Welcome back to Bring Your Own Lightsaber. We are here breaking down Season 3, Episode 6. It is Guns for Hire. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, with another host, Cam, and new regular host, Greg.
I still want to be considered a guest host. I think
special guest Greg.
Special Greg every time.
Because who knows? We thought last week I was going to get laid off and have to move away.
No.
Spoiler alert, I get to keep my job.
He's still here.
I'm still here.
He's still here, and he's ready to talk this episode. It's getting close to the end of the season, but I think this episode it gives us an idea of what the plot is.
It got us on track.
It gives us a very clear direction that we're going to go. I think we still don't know. Our biggest issue
we
was
don't
we
have
don't
many
know
specific details.
We don't know what the big bad guy is. Now, I guess in season 1, we didn't know that Moff Gideon was the big bad until episode 7 when he shows up, right? But we knew that the Empire was bad, and we had a face to put to that. We don't know anything about this other than Officer Kane is being shady in the New Republic.
Right.
But it's clear now where we're going to go.
Yeah.
But why don't we jump in?
We were saying right after we finished it, this was just like it was a good, fun episode, right? And there's a lot of just fun, cool things that happened.
Yes. I described this as the Solo of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
The Solo of this season.
Fun.
Solo
fun.
as in the movie Solo, starring Alden Ehrenreich. Jesus, what's their names? Alden Ehrenreich, Donald Glover,
Emilia
Woody
Clarke,
Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, Tandy Newton,
and Chewbacca.
all those folks, and Chewbacca.
It was good. It was nice and fun. I still do wish that we got more of like the specific details, like we were just saying.
Right.
But at least we do have a direction where we think we're going.
Very vaguely, the plan is we are going to retake the planet of Mandalore.
Yeah. So I think it's a little like, based on the fact that they once again did not give us anything about the bad guys, it should be pretty clear to us that they're going after the combined fleet of the Mandalorians, specifically for the purpose of fighting the Imperial remnant threat that destroyed Bo-Katan's home and probably is lurking around Mandalore. So we're just assuming at this point that's the main thing we got to deal with, the main hurdle they'll have to overcome on this hero's journey.
And I don't know how relevant this is, but in the previous episode, there was kind of one pirate who got away. And that one pirate who got away, potentially he could go to the Empire and say, hey, there's a bunch of Mandalorians gathering. Like
Navarro.
Yeah.
That's true. That could be how
this
final battle happens.
If not, we also know there are a bunch of Mandalorians on Bo-Katan's old hangout.
Empire, you mean?
Empire.
Yeah, there's that big fleet that chased her and Mando.
Yeah.
After blowing up the castle.
That's what I'm referring to as that's got to be the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
That was a big fleet.
Well,
it's just who's leading them at this point.
I mean,
and
Gideon is on the loose somewhere.
Gideon is out there, but
he's the only one that we're sure is around.
Thrawn, right?
I think in the grand scheme of things, yes. I think we're going to see Gideon make a comeback, and then we'll talk about predictions later. But I do think we'll end up getting Thrawn because some of these smaller little Easter eggs, if you will, I don't think would have been popping up if that's not what is going to happen.
I think Gideon takes his orders from Thrawn.
Correct.
I don't think that's a stretch at all.
I think that's got to be what's going on. All right, we got to get into this.
Let's break down the episode, then we'll talk theories.
We open on a Quarren ship. It's a really cool girl in this tank, and she is the female captain of the ship. She's this Quarren lady. It's in a fish tank, and then the tank goes into the floor and becomes a chair. And I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It was pretty cool.
Cam was saying it felt like Star Trek up in here.
They said
I agree. I was agreeing it felt
okay.
like Star Trek.
Yeah, it felt like Star Trek. Oh, hailing the captain.
There has been lots of hailing. I was saying.
So they hail the captain of the other ship that comes up on them. It is the Mandalorians that have the old Imperial light cruiser that they got from Moff Gideon. So it's nice to know that that's within the arsenal of the Mandalorians.
Right. Because we got this nice little recap of kind of putting all the pieces together of how basically Bo-Katan and Mando got to where they were. And it almost gave us it confirmed from last episode that Bo-Katan was going to find all of her old buddies with the Night Owls and this quote-unquote Mandalorian fleet that we had heard of but hadn't quite seen. So it kind of confirmed that. So the first scene, we get this, and it's just like, okay, here we go. We're getting lots of Mandalorians. The more, the merrier.
It was a good kind of episode recap that they started off with, just kind of saying a reminder of the Mandalorian she was previously with split off to become mercenaries. And what do you know? We see them on a mercenary mission to bring a Mon Calamari prince back to the home planet.
A couple weird little
this is
scenes
what
there at the
really
end,
felt
but-
Star Trek-y to me. They didn't just capture it was a whole love story, and
Right.
There was a lot of
I mean,
touching.
I don't know, man. I
tentacles.
liked it. It was a different angle that they took for this one.
I did
thought
like
it was. We finally transcended centuries of war. Oh, for love! Like, yeah, cheesy, whatever. I kind of was fun.
They nailed.
I had a good time.
They nailed the tone, and just kind of the comedy made sense.
Yeah, no, and it goes back to this just being kind of a fun episode. It felt like a very comedic, almost relief episode, which is nice. 'cause we
Without
really had one of
being-
these in Mando.
Without being overdone.
Right.
Yes.
Like it was
Correct.
It was
Because you still have the
good.
stern Mandos being like, all right, what's going, just figure
Right.
it out.
It was grounded within Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't absurd to
It
see
wasn't
this in this
stupid.
show. Yeah.
So yeah, we got to see what that mercenary fleet of Mandos is up to. Cut to what Bo-Katan and Din Djarin flying to where she knows that they are located.
And we then see the whole fleet, which is actually,
It's
Pretty-
the
pretty
main
big.
ship with a
Yeah.
bunch of Mandalorian ships.
and there was a
some-
few other smaller
Yeah,
like
yeah.
frigates, if we can call them
sounds,
that.
that sounds right.
And as we know,
Maybe
the,
even some freighters.
the covert
Yeah.
has a grand total of 0 ships.
Yes.
Correct.
So they,
Well, they have the grand
They're
total of
taking turns-
Bo-Katan's
in-
and the
in
N1.
Well,
Din,
since
yeah.
Din and Bo left in Bo's ship, they're taking turns flying the N1 around.
someone has to patrol the city. Like eventually, the air traffic
They have
control needs
one
to.
X-wing on call from R5. It's
True.
all right.
True. Yes. So they kind of head to this planet. I believe it was Palaven 15.
You know what? I bet you the Navarro city citizens have other ships that they would let the Mandos use for protection purposes.
True.
That's probably not crazy. All right. Anyway, moving on. We have they land on this planet and their ship gets computer. Like this computer voice comes on and says, "Hi, welcome. We're taking you to the docking bay." Just hijacks the ship, and they're like, "All right, I guess we're doing this now."
I will say they do make the point. I'm not sure if it means much, but they do make the one point of saying that it's the last democracy in the Outer Rim, and basically kind of saying that they are
Yeah.
involved with the New Republic and everything like that. Just keeping that in the back of our minds. I'm not sure if that'll actually
Yeah,
play out
forget
to mean much.
Yeah,
What
well,
the planet's name was.
Well, I guess the
Didn't we just look it up?
New Republic is a republic.
15, something 15, Palace 15.
Palaven 15. It's a
Yeah.
P15. We'll call it.
Well, anyway, they get told that they have to go and see the leaders of the planet.
Right. They can't just
right.
go see their Mandalorian buddies. The leader of the planet needs to see them ASAP. And they walk into that throne room, and there's Jack Black and Lizzo.
Who other than Jack Black, Lizzo, in a Star Wars show?
That was great. And he wasn't like overdoing it with
Right.
Jack Black either.
Right.
It was, like
Again,
I
it
like
just- it
Jack
worked.
Black. I like watching him overdo it, but it was like perfectly tame. You know, goofy enough to still be Jack Black, but not awful.
I
for Star
thought
Wars.
Lizzo really hung in there with the acting.
Yeah.
As a singer, she was doing her thing.
She's been in other stuff, hasn't she?
Yeah. So good for her. And Jack
Um,
Black is now in Star Wars.
Canon.
Yeah. Okay. The major plot of why they brought them to the planet and said, "Hey, you have to come and see the leaders."
Well, we skipped over a major plot point. Grogu being addicted to food again.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah. They sit down at the table. Lizzo, Princess Lizzo.
Yeah.
We
asks-
might have to start a tradition. Every time Grogu
Tries
eats
to
some
eat
food
food,
he's
yeah.
not supposed to, then we take a shot.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
this was food he was supposed to eat.
Well, it was
Well, against Din's
yeah.
wishes,
We'll
probably.
we'll go by what Papa says because he's eaten a lot of things that Papa would not have let him eat.
Grogu basically gets baited by some
Yeah,
fish.
does a little force
triple
jump.
force
Yeah.
backflip right into Lizzo's arms and goes for the fish.
It was pretty.
That's
cool.
probably the only reason Lizzo wanted to join the show, to hold Grogu.
True.
Dude. You like, and I said this when season 1 came out. what a brilliant maneuver to create this thing to bring in so many new fans.
Right.
Like,
Because
he's so cute. Yeah. And you bring, like, you tell your girlfriend, hey, this show, it's sci-fi, but it's got this really cute mystical baby. You'd love it. And then, an hour later, you've watched a couple episodes of Star Wars.
Well, throughout this
and
episode,
hooked, right?
Throughout this episode, I'm thinking, well, I guess towards the end of the episode, when we saw who the director was, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
She's
I
a
like her.
pretty famous celebrity. I wonder if these were all kind of her friends. She was able to get these great
good point.
sort of folks onto the show. That was just really cool to see.
I'd like to see her in this. Give her a Mando suit.
She's a really good actress.
That's the best thing. You can throw anyone in a Mando suit. And
you sure
go
can.
Nuts. But anywho, yeah, onto the main plot of why Jack Black and Lizzo call them in. They got a separatist battle droid problem.
They do.
Well, it hadn't been a problem for a while. The battle droids were kind of the crux of their society. We learned to find out in a weird sort of if Wall-E had gone correctly.
Yeah, it turns out this planet is just the axiom, and everybody is addicted to letting robots do all the work. And as we observe the society, we're like, okay, what could possibly be wrong with that? But we kind of get a taste for the fact that robots in this society are almost programmed to have free will.
Right. They're
like
real.
It honestly feels like they're second-class citizens, but they're still class citizens. You know what I mean?
They state this later on. They enjoy their little arrangement.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, hey, this is better than being a pile of junk.
They're like,
so thank you humans for making us.
Yeah.
So we go and we meet the security chief of the department, and it's Doc from Back to the Future with no wig. He's all grumpy about the way things are going, but whatever. Their society doesn't need human labor anymore, so people get to just enjoy and be a part of the arts. And I've said several times over the last couple of years, we've hit a point in our society where can't robots and AI do all of the manual and basic labor jobs there are?
Wall-E, Greg.
Right. But the problem with capitalism is if that's how we go, we don't give the wealth of that ability to the masses. We hoard it for Jeff Bezos to take advantage of and fly himself to the moon and back every now and then.
We haven't figured that part out yet.
No,
Cam, we'll assign that task to you for the sake of humanity. So yes, they meet kind of Christopher Lloyd, and he kind of tells them, I don't know. I have the master shutoff button here, but I don't want to press that under any circumstances.
So the planet depends on these
we do
robots.
learn that the reason they pulled in Din and Bo-Katan is that they used the kind of, weapons are part of the Mandalorian religion little trick up the sleeve again. We've seen this a handful of times.
They have what feels like a very rule intensive democracy that suggests no weapons are allowed. Military forces are not allowed in the confines of the city. I think it's very Mandalorian looking city too that we mentioned when we're flying up. It's the dome. Yeah. It's like Mandalore on the outside, Coruscant on the inside.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, they go and they let Bo and Din in, and they're like, "Oh, you guys, it's your religion. You're free to practice religion, whatever you want, which includes weapons and armor for you guys. That's we're all inclusive here." So,
right.
So please bring your weapons and take care of our battle droid problem.
Don't forget to bring your own lightsaber.
Or if you're Christopher Lloyd, please speak to the Ugnaughts and have them.
Because I can't do anything about it. I just hit one button to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
If you want the individual things, go talk to them downstairs.
So they kind of head to the lower levels where the Ugnaughts are kind of relegated to, and Bo steps up into their kind of workshop.
Not so successful.
No, not quite. And Din gives it a try.
He does his Queel talk. So he just
nice callback to season 1, right?
Season 1, and he died. And
I have spoken.
That was it was great. So we see Bo kind of hamming it up and failing, and Din gets the work, gets the message.
I have spoken,
and they move on their way. They go to a dock where the data suggests the next droid is going to be, and we see a B1 battle droid running a manifest with a couple hundred B2 battle droids carrying boxes back and
forth.
Super battle droid. Well, B2.
Yeah.
Was that the first time we've seen one of those in live action in quite a while?
Not since the clone. Sorry. Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
not since episode 3.
Not since the early 2000s.
Right. They look good. They did look good.
They did look
some
good,
of the animation did look a
Sorry.
little wonky to me. Just
It
almost looked too like you could
I
tell
thought it looked too shiny.
I just thought the motion was almost too fluid.
Yeah, you thought
You
so?
know,
Well, they probably
like
had
thinking back
mocap.
to like Clone Wars and it was fully animated. Like
Yeah.
they still looked like they marched very rigid. And
Yeah.
the turns were rigid.
Yeah.
Where this almost looked like a person.
They probably
running
had
around.
somebody in a mocap
Right,
suit doing
right.
it. I didn't mind it.
But yeah, no, nothing to complain about because they did look visually really good.
Yeah, they
It
did.
was slightly
And
different.
they got the voices for the B1 from the Clone Wars
Yeah.
instead of doing the old synthesized voice from Phantom Menace and the other movies. But also they made because it's after the Phantom Menace that the Naboo starfighters, piloted by our very own little orphan Annie, take out the donut ship from the Trade Federation, their capital ship, and it knocks out the controls for all the droids. And after that point, the Separatist Alliance, well, they weren't the Separatists yet until the end of Attack of the Clones, but the Trade Federation switches to autonomous programming units so that the droids don't need a control ship to function at all and prevent that same catastrophe. And when that happens, the droids start to get almost personalities, which we really start to see in this episode because the droid is not really back talking or sassing Bo and Din, but he's got a opinion.
Yeah.
It was a little sassy.
Yeah. And then Din's like, I will not put up with this. And he starts kicking at the B2s.
Because this is calling back to, how we know Din hates any kind of
does
droid in general.
Like droids. And especially when they're not working properly, he has a big problem with it. He treats those B2s the way I treat my Amazon Alexa when she can't tell me what the freaking weather is.
Still no IG. He hasn't sort of prioritized the IG repair yet this season.
Right.
Yeah. So then he kicks one and it falls over and then it gets very upset and causes a whole problem.
The B1 does say like, hey, you might not want to do that. These were
war droids.
And Bo-Katan makes fun of, oh, I thought you were all reprogrammed, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, still.
I mean, just because the grenade is disarmed doesn't mean I would pull the pin and throw it at someone, right?
Right.
That sort of sparks a foot chase, not a jetpack chase, really.
Yeah, Bo did a couple of jet jumps,
twice, but it was definitely faster than the chase in the Obi-Wan.
Yes, thank God. Oh my God.
The Leia chase, the infamous Leia chase.
They did that slightly better this time. We'll say that. No, it was pretty good. They could have used the jetpacks, but other than that, no complaints.
It's like, again, why didn't, do we know why Din didn't have his jetpack on?
No, we do not. But also, so Din didn't bring his jetpack, Bo didn't bring her helmet. Right? And it was just like whatever they left the ship carrying at the time for whatever reason. Right. And they were also going indoors. They were indoors for that whole thing.
Yeah.
So he chased the droid, and we thought Bo was going to jetpack around to get ahead of it, but then he just like jumps through the window, and hits it hard enough to knock it over.
Yeah, the good old Beskar headbutt, maybe.
Yeah, and those things are
solid.
Yeah. So he did give it the good old Beskar headbutt.
And they find a little kind of.
It's like a matchbox, basically. Yeah. Like if a human being went to a bar like
something I think
40 years ago, you'd get a matchbox for the bar you went to. Now you might get a business card, or you'd have a QR code on your phone, whatever.
Yeah.
The droid had a whatever they call it, a spark card.
Something like that. And Din goes, that must be from a droid bar.
And we're like, a droid bar? So the droids are sentient and have like they work shifts, so they really are like citizens of this whatever.
They're boozing up.
And they go to a bar and they drink together. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it was cool. They kind of had like certain droids off with their buddies hanging over the table.
Different, they got the oil lubricant, whatever they call it, so hooked up.
Din and Bo walk in and literally the music scratches to a halt. And they all just stare. And it's so perfect. They don't say anything. Din goes up and threatens the barkeep, even after Bo asks him not to. But Din is a very impatient man when it comes to droids.
That was, which is interesting. That was kind of two kind of failures of leadership on Bo's part.
To control him.
And Din doing successful things.
I don't know. Well, Bo was the one to finally shoot the battle droid. And I don't know if I would say Din's entry to the droid bar was necessarily successful because it seemed like he was really pissing off more droids.
So Bo wants to be diplomatic and handle this appropriately, and Din wants to just get in there and mess some stuff up. And well, it didn't work then because it turns out the droids are all like, hey, we really like being able to contribute to society and give back to our organic creators, which is kind of the opposite of where I thought we were going to go.
I thought we were going to get a full-on
rebellion
gang of
like
droids,
AI sentience, Terminator,
iRobot.
So we don't go that direction. I'm fine. It was kind of fun to see it go this way instead.
Yeah.
And then Din's like, oh wait, okay, maybe they're not
so
all that bad.
That droid gives them like, hey, we get this juice from this
lubricant, Greg.
Whatever it is. Yeah, this oil
hydraulic lubricant.
And it looks like they were all the affected droids were drinking from the same trough or whatever. That's the best way.
Yeah, batch.
Trough.
They go to droid morgue and pull out the battle droid.
That was very unnecessary.
Autopsy.
They autopsied a B2 in a morgue for droid.
You were saying this felt like Grey's Anatomy. It might have been like a slight spoof on that, to be honest.
It was so weird, but I loved it.
It was fun. It was fun.
And then the other droid literally draws blood from the B2.
Yeah, draws the oil.
It's like out of its arm, and like you would a person. I just thought it was so funny.
But then, as soon as that droid, the medical droid, gives the batch to the scientist or whatever, I'm thinking maybe that droid, it got into that droid system.
That has to be
because as they're analyzing the blood, if you will, of the B2,
the medical droid
goes crazy and just starts ripping lasers off left and right, and we get a nice Din.
We do get a nice
choppy chop with the dark
saber chop.
That was a cool droid, actually. It was almost like the opposite of the Imperial
It's
interrogation.
exactly what that was. Probably so most of their droids were repurposed either Separatist or Imperial droids, like the R2 unit and it is a protocol droid, but it doesn't have the same head that 3PO has. It's the other one.
Oh yeah, one of those.
The two they were painted black that greeted them at the dock.
The medical droid reminded me a lot from the little Tony Stark robots from Spider-Man: Far From Home.
The little drones?
Yeah, the little drones.
Oh, that's what it means.
Because it just had the little arms poking out on the sides, and it had all these like weird weapons.
It reminded me of the other droid that was the same
droid.
From the one he's saying.
Yeah.
But painted white.
The one from the same universe.
Oh, it reminded me of the droid that actually was.
Yeah.
Well, no, you also get like slight vibes of the like lightsaber trading tool as well, which comes into handy later on.
Yeah.
When this droid just goes into attack mode, and Bo, I think, got hit by one of its lasers.
Yeah, it kind of clipped her off like the arm or something as she was trying to. She was like kind of huddling over the scientist to protect the scientist.
Yeah. Anyway, they find out in that whole debacle that there's nanodroids within the droid juice that they're drinking.
So Tony Stark.
From Tony Stark. And they trace the chain code of the requisition order of the droids that were illegally ordered to the planet. It's a whole bureaucratic.
All from a couple.
I thought we were watching an episode of NCIS for a minute.
Basically, Christopher Lloyd ordered
Doc from Back to the Future
ordered these droids into the city, and he knows he's not supposed to do that.
Yeah, so he wants to. They go and confront him, and he like does this whole bit about the Confederate uprising, and he was a separatist from way back when. So, I mean, because this is 10 years after, which is 5 years after, which is 1 year after, which is 20 years after the thing. So he would have been like an adult during the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
We just say Bo has aged very gracefully.
Very much. I was thinking about that.
Thinking about how Obi-Wan ages. 35 to 45. Well, 35 to 45 ain't bad because it's still Ewan, but when it goes from Ewan to Alec McGuinness 9 years later,
drop off.
Yeah, wow. 54 did not look so good on him.
Wow. Yeah, no gray hair on her yet. So they kind of go to confront him, and
he threatens the big red button.
Which we later find out is not actually a kill switch. He said it was going to revert it back to their battle program. Right. That would have been crazy.
That would have been really cool. Then the Mandos would have had to come in, and it would have been a whole thing.
That's true. That would have been.
But they
disable that button.
I was just like, I was trying to decide who was going to shoot him first, Bo or Din, because somebody was getting shot.
Well, to me, I was thinking the whole time, Din was sitting there like hands up, like, well, no one can move.
No, his right hand was hovering over his.
That's true. Okay. But then Bo was just sitting there like.
And she just
still
talking. Stun blast.
Yeah.
I don't think Din has those like stun blasters.
Right. He just has the whispering.
He had the knee
willows,
blasters that Boba Fett had.
Yep, that's true.
Those are nice.
Could have used those, but
I was thinking Bo was going to use her little wrist rope thing to like knot up his hand or something, but the stun works just as well.
It was fine.
He was an older guy. Their reactions slightly faster.
They were obviously trying not to waste too much time on this little mini plot, so they kind of rush it along. They capture him.
Right, because the next scene we get is
what we were waiting for.
Right, what the episode was supposed to be about. So they go and they turn over the guy to
funny Baby Yoda scene.
Yeah,
to the Royals.
And then they leave after being presented the key to the city, and they're always welcome. And Grogu got knighted and all that.
Grogu got knighted. Yeah,
he did help the King
Lizzo
guy win.
Play the little game.
Yeah,
yes.
with the roly poly croquet balls.
They must like it. Was this also when they mentioned, or it might have been before, but they do mention how when they were trying to get Din and Bo-Katan to help them with this problem, they were saying, "Oh, we're not gonna like hire you," but they basically offered them not money, but sovereignty almost, right? We'll get Mandalore back to being a sovereign planet as part of the New Republic and all this stuff. So that's kind of what tipped them off, and now they're off to see the Mandalorians.
Yeah,
after having completed their little quest.
Can I just say, was that planet basically Epcot Disney World vibes for you guys?
As they're going in, I said that this is what the next Disney resort should look like. Just a giant. It's basically the ship from WALL-E. And when they shot the B-2 down in the street, and the little security droids came up and put a little thing around it, they were making the same tape. Little wee sounds.
Do you guys ever take those, like, I don't know what they call those trams to get into Disney World?
Yeah. That's so right. I would go to that resort. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
if I could afford it.
Yeah, no one can afford that place.
Not here. Bring Your Own Lightsaber.
We got to get sponsored.
We are poor.
Yeah, we'll be getting sponsors for the show.
Bring Your Own Lightsaber,
listeners,
the official podcast.
If you can tell your friends and make us YouTube famous, then maybe we can afford to go.
Yes.
But otherwise, that ain't happening.
So, listeners, please spread the word.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, God. I'd rather kill myself.
Hit the bell button at the bottom.
Cut that.
All right, we get to the meat.
Yeah,
in
so
my
finally,
opinion, of the episode. Bo and Din show up at the this is not a covert.
Just the encampment, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the military base of operations, which is just a bunch of ships parked in a field of grass.
And they are now under the command of Din's former subordinate.
Yeah. Was it Din's former subordinate? No, Bo's former subordinate.
Bo,
yes.
I
was going to say it.
Axe Wolves.
He's
pretty. What a name!
I thought maybe him and Bo were exes. I thought that would have been kind of snazzy.
Could be.
They could have butted helmets.
Shows up with a new man. That's not a good look. He's kind of saying, "This is my crew now. What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Which is it always seems so silly when they act surprised to me, because as we see within less than 10 seconds, all that Bo has to do is say, I challenge you to a duel.
Combat, and then she kicks his ass. Jetpacks are flying.
Right. And I think it's hilarious. It's challenge. There's not like fist fighting or anything. It's just shooting missiles at people's faces.
Yeah, he just soon as she said the challenge, he just popped a missile right at her, and it missed. And he shot another missile at her.
That his own people.
Almost hit his own. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
But Bo, being Bo, wins. I'd say fairly.
Well, let's just say the jetpacks were in play.
Yes, very in play.
Several times.
Really cool.
She did a lot of jump kicks.
Actually, yeah,
they were pretty good.
Jetpack drop kicks. She had the one where they were up on the wing of the plane.
Move.
Yeah,
that was a good
she
move.
got pushed down. She jetpacked, wired in, and then kind of flung him down.
Yeah, use her momentum against him.
We saw what do we call them? The vibro knives,
vibro blades,
vibro blades.
Shields.
Yeah, the shield with the flamethrower. Yeah, we got all the good stuff.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good fight.
Good punch 'em up. And then should we talk about the last bit after the break?
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We'll finish up the episode and dive into some theories. All right, welcome back from break. We are ready to kind of finish up this episode, and we'll dive into some theories and then get ready for episode 7. The season's almost over.
Yeah, so we left off talking about how Bo, again, pretty almost shockingly handily.
She got punched in the
defeats this
face a
guy.
lot, though.
She
That's
got
true.
hit. Yeah.
That's true.
She could take a punch.
She
Yeah,
can take a
in her elderly
jetpack
age,
into
yeah.
a ship pretty well
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But she wins, and they're just sitting there like, okay, well, now what? And the guy she fights, what's his name?
Wolf.
Axe Wolf.
Axe Wolves. Cool name again.
Pretty good.
It's a very Mandalorian name, if you will. And he's just sitting there like, okay, you beat me, but you still don't have the Darksaber, and I feel like you should have been challenging that guy the whole time, right? Why are you
He's not
challenging
even
me?
Mandalorian, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And Bo's like, he's more Mandalorian than all of you. Well, she doesn't say exactly that.
Pretty sure. She
But-
took the creed of our ancestors. Like he kind of
He
is.
takes it very seriously.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, but it still doesn't work. And then Din's like, well, I'm going to give Bo-Katan the Darksaber. And everybody's like, okay, we've been over this. You can't just give it to her. And then he's like, well, I was defeated on Mandalore. And the creature that defeated me was defeated then by Bo. So rightfully, the Darksaber is hers. And she just does that, oh my, look, like
and
she
then everyone
always
else is
does.
just standing there, and he's like, is this not the
Um,
case? And everyone stands there. He says it again, and then the guy's like,
All right.
well, I guess that is the case. And then he hands it to her in the worst possible. You know how a teacher says never hold the scissors by...
I know.
The
He
blade?
held it
Right.
right by
He
the-
held the where it opens up, just
Like, Dan, you've
pointed
already,
right at his gut.
you've
Right,
already chopped something off with that before. You might.
Right. That's like
Oh,
Luke
work on
looking down the barrel and
Yeah.
everything.
I
So that's kind of the end of our episode.
Yeah, Bo gets the Darksaber, and she does this triumphant stance.
and
with
Din
it at
is
the end.
like very clearly standing to the side. She's perfectly in the center. It was a great
and
shot.
it was
Sun in
almost
the
a
background.
nice. It was a nice little moment because it's just seemed like for this entire show since Din has had the Darksaber that he just doesn't want it, and he
Right.
wants nothing to do with it. So he's like, finally, here, you can have it. You go be the leader. I'll just do my own thing, and I got Grogu to worry about. So you go lead Mandalore.
I want Din to have a lightsaber though.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later. The Darksaber.
Ezra will
is
give him
special.
one once he comes back.
Maybe,
Dark
maybe,
Ezra.
maybe Ahsoka will kill Ezra
Ah.
because that's what I want to happen. I
Maybe-
want
yeah, maybe
I want
Ahsoka
Ezra
will
to be a-
give him
be
one
a
of
dark
her
side
kids.
character, and Ahsoka will kill him, and then Din can have Ezra's busted lightsaber.
Well, it'd be nice.
Right, you'll
It'd be
see
nice if Din
Ahsoka
could have a
destroying
lightsaber.
His gun lightsaber that you hate.
Oh, I hate that thing. Yeah.
It would make sense if Mando had it.
That one.
It would be a very Mando lightsaber.
Yeah, it really would. I don't want it to look the way it looks in the show.
Yeah,
though.
he can modify it.
Oh, it's so
I
fun.
don't know. What's the point of a non-Force user having a non-dark saber though?
I mean,
'Cause it's
dude,
Mando.
Or dark
do you-
saber number 2.
do you want a lightsaber?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
a Force user?
Is this a show called Bring Your Own Lightsaber?
it is.
Are any of us Force users?
Let Din
Not
bring his
that we
own
know.
lightsaber.
Is
not,
this
not that we know.
something
of.
you
All I
want
would
to tell
say,
us,
it would
Greg?
be
I'm
cool.
more of an asthmatic robot with my collection of lightsabers.
It'd be cool if Din had his own lightsaber that didn't weigh 1,000 pounds to him.
Right. Yes.
Or if Grogu had one.
Also, that
That would be pretty cool.
I don't honestly. I
He'll get
think I'd rather have that.
Yeah.
Grogu
will-
over Din.
Grogu will get one.
Right.
Maybe Din will get one too. Maybe it'll be like he takes him on this
Father- yeah.
adventure,
Father-son
and
bonding.
then he gets his own
Can't be
crystal
trapped.
at the same time, and they're.
But would a kyber crystal appear to him because he's not a Force user?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, but like, I just want it to anyway.
Grogu will just grab an extra one for him.
Maybe.
So we're watching a show called The Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian is not the one who's going
Right.
to.
He is not the Mandalorian now. He's now
Not
kind of
anymore.
just,
a
at least for now,
Mandalorian.
he is just.
We'll see. Hey, maybe
Right.
they'll kill Bo-Katan in this next episode.
True.
Maybe
Right.
they'll like. I don't want Bo-Katan to die. I really like Katie Sackhoff as an actor, like being on the just. It would certainly put some weight to it, you know.
That is
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
good
They
point.
killed Queel in the first season. Who'd they kill in the second season? They kill anybody? They brought Fennec Shand back from the dead, but
Oh, they killed someone, yeah. Blinken.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I mean, off screen they killed.
Cara Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's the episode.
That's the episode.
Yeah, pretty good one.
It wasn't.
It-
pretty-
well,
it was
the-
fun.
It was a fun episode, and then
Fun.
the end was very juicy, and it's
Yes.
kind of what we needed and have been waiting for.
I was just about to say what you just said, Greg, about if she goes down, then all of a sudden Din is pretty much next in line to be
I
the leader.
mean,
Right.
I imagine he's going to fight by her side because that's very much something he would do.
Right.
And if she goes down and he has to take the Darksaber, maybe he has a big character development moment where he figures out how to wield
if
it.
she can't, then right, because the whole
And
thing
then-
is that the wielder needs to kind of believe in uniting Mandalore and everything like that, and being the leader of the Mandalorian. So it'd be as crappy as it would be to see Bo-Katan go down because she's like the most badass character there is in the show currently. If she were to go down and he were to get the lightsaber, or Darksaber, it would be interesting if he kind of had this moment where like, oh, so she can't do it anymore. Now I have to.
Predictions moving forward. I think we are expecting some sort of showdown between Mandalorians and the Empire.
Yes.
Yeah. At this point, I still really want it to be Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Ezra as his enforcer. Basically, he takes and makes his own Vader. That would be sick.
That'd be crazy.
They could potentially be the Luke of this season, just coming in right at the end. They might not even do anything.
Well, like
they might
did,
just appear on
right?
screen.
And then that could be the Ahsoka show trying to redeem and save
'Cause
Ezra and defeat Thrawn. I mean,
I think that would
that's,
be kind of the perfect thing is we get one episode or at least part of the end of the episode to being the Mandalorian fleet versus an Imperial the Imperial fleet that we know is by Mandalore somewhere right now. And then the end is that Ahsoka comes to help Din and the Mandos and hopefully, like Greg has said, save Ezra.
Yeah.
Whereas Thrawn and maybe or maybe not Ezra / Darth Ezra come back. And obviously Thrawn is trying to help the Imperials. And that's kind of the lead on to the Ahsoka show coming up.
I could see them ending dark this season, especially after last season's kind of very light ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty possible.
Yeah.
I think there's a clear direction it's going in, and like I was saying before, I don't think there would be. They wouldn't have put in these kind of rebel teasers if there wasn't going to be either Thrawn or Ezra or both at the end.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that would be the case because why else put the space whales?
Okay, they're definitely doing Thrawn. Ahsoka's getting her own show, and the only episode we got her in last season, she says, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" That's
Right.
the whole thing.
Right.
So we're getting Thrawn, and if that's where they take it, they can't bring him back and not bring Ezra back because they went together.
Right?
Or maybe there's one more group of Mandalorians they need to get on board. Maybe Sabine has a group.
Well, you think there's 2 more episodes
Because we
left.
still
What
have
happens?
Gideon out there in somewhere where Beskar was left as a remnant of breaking him
Yeah,
free.
that was not resolved this episode.
That was
Was
still not
not
resolved.
resolved. Well,
unless
okay,
it has
unless-
something to do with the fleet,
right?
and the
Which
fleet
they
is
may have been
holding Gideon.
hired to do that.
right?
True.
Oh,
They
that's
may
true.
not be holding him, but maybe the Imperial Remnant was like, "Hey, you guys go get this guy. We'll pay you."
Right.
And they did.
Empire's got a lot of money usually.
They do.
And apparently
They do.
lots of Beskar, as we know from season 1.
Yep, they have that too.
So we need the resolution of the where's Gideon? He got broken out.
Yes. Where's Dr. Professor Science?
I don't think we're seeing him
Dr.
again.
Empire.
It'll
Yeah, Dr. Pershing.
Well,
Hand
something's-
to him in a wheelchair.
something's still got to happen with Officer Kane, and that's probably
Yeah,
going to
that
tie
feels
in.
unresolved.
That's going to have to tie into Gideon, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be Gideon leading this. My thought, what's most clear is Gideon's leading this fleet. The Mandalorians fight the Imperials. Then Thrawn comes and either something happens to Gideon or Thrawn comes and just overtakes Gideon.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm just
Something
thinking
along
about.
those lines.
I'm thinking about Dr. Pershing again. Did they just bring him in to give Kane some character development and a backstory for
Right.
like, hey, she's doing this and she's still a bad guy?
Or will
Kind of
something
thing.
happen with the cloning? Maybe they're cloning something.
Well, I think they are, right?
Yeah.
And I think the tie-in should be to that
Maybe
because they
someone mentioned it before. Honestly, it might have been Maddie before, but someone was saying how that could be the technology that cloned Palpatine.
well, that's exactly
and that was
what
right.
it should be, right?
Thrawn that's trying to plan that.
Thrawn is taking orders from Palpatine's consciousness somehow. That's my guess.
well,
Maybe
he's got
Palpatine's
those,
consciousness is in Thrawn.
the surrogates.
Dun, dun, dun.
Are they surrogates? I can't remember. So Palpatine had those droids with like
Oh,
AI
yeah.
versions of his consciousness
Yeah.
downloaded in them.
Yeah, what was the name of those?
Um,
Those were in the video games.
Sentinels? No.
Yeah,
Maybe?
maybe.
So yeah, in the video games, they have Operation Cinder, where the droid commands the Empire forces to just basically kill all of their own people. It's really weird. And then in the books, the Aftermath books, one of the Sentinels works with like Gallius Rax to basically instrument the fall of the Empire. Like once the whole he does this, he tells this whole story around like a chessboard. Once the king's been taken, the rest of the pieces shouldn't exist because you failed to do your job. So Gallius Rax's whole job is to wipe the board of all of the Empire and the Republic if he can. So he had the whole planet of Jakku set to self-destruct. It was a whole thing. But it was all instrumented by one of those Sentinels. So whatever other Sentinels are out there might have something to do with the cloning situation that they never touch in the movies, right?
True.
And if anything, we've seen Dave play catch up and fix them up to make sure we bridge whatever gaps there are, like Anakin slowly transitioning to the dark side in, like 10 minutes.
Cam, do you think we're going to see IG-11 repaired this season?
I want it so bad because he was such a fun character.
He was.
And just a cool character. So I just really hope that they can go back to Navarro, fix him up for this final battle, and just see him just taking blaster bolts to the face all over the place and just wreaking havoc.
It has been a theme so far to assemble.
Played him in Beskar. Just give it everything.
Played it in Beskar with the helmet on.
Why IG-11 with Mandalorian helmet and Beskar coating his outside.
He's really going to show up R5 in that case then.
R5.
I was saying R5 for this final battle. Maybe we'll get R5 to call in the New Republic, get Zeb and our Blue Squad pilot, and potentially Hera back.
I think Hera for sure.
You were saying you want to share your little theory on Hera real quick?
I'm thinking Blue Squadron is commanded by Hera out in the Outer Rim.
Right.
I think it makes sense.
It would fit. That's why Zeb's there.
Zeb's there, and who else is in there?
What was Hera's rank in the rebellion at the end of the
captain?
No,
was she high? Was she general?
I thought she was promoted really high.
Okay.
You hear them kind of call for General Syndulla, I thought, in one of the movies.
She's referenced in the books too.
She's pretty high up in my guess.
So I mean, I wouldn't put her as like a squadron commander. She could be the leader of like the New Republic's military by then. I don't know.
True. I feel
one way to find out.
What's Zeb doing out there by himself?
Yeah, he should be with her.
The other member of that squad was Rex.
Rex, yeah.
So
okay,
he traditionally has worked closely with Ahsoka.
I think Tamora Morrison shows up in
Ahsoka.
In Ahsoka as Rex.
That'd be so cool.
Old man Rex.
Rex.
He needs a beard.
Well, because again, canonically, he's in the fight.
Give me that blue helmet. Oh, I need it.
That picture of all the soldiers on Endor. There's an old bald guy with a white beard.
Oh, really?
By chance, right? That was just one of the actors that was on set when they filmed it back in the 70s, almost 80s. I don't know, for the Return of the Jedi.
People are saying that's Rex.
Well, not just people are saying it's Rex. Everybody, like, I think even George Lucas and Dave Filoni are like, canonically, it was just an accident, but we're saying canonically that's Rex.
Oh, they've come out and said.
I'm almost certain.
That's cool. Filoni said that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Like what a missed opportunity that would be if they didn't take advantage of it. To say, yep, that character's still out there fighting the good fight.
So Rebels 2.0 is coming.
Yes, yes.
And this is it. Mando and Bo are both going down.
Get Rex's old Republic walking tank back that he's living on.
The AT-T,
bring that to the fight. Yeah.
All right. I think that'll do it for this episode. We're just hyped for the next two episodes of this.
You didn't do your research, did you, Cam?
I didn't do the research, so I'll bring that back to next episode.
All right. Plot twist: I didn't do my research either, but before we watched the episode, I quickly Googled. The Acolyte is going to take 100 place before the before the Phantom Menace, in the era of 100 years. In the era of the High Republic, and it's supposed to kind of show the emergence of some dark force power.
I was going to say, I thought there was. I knew there was a show coming
when we were talking about it earlier, Ryan mentioned, hey, maybe it could show like Plagueis. Like if they did Plagueis and Tenebris, that would be really cool. He was Biff.
I don't know if he's officially canon.
Well, and I don't know if Plagueis is officially Ewan anymore, right? Because in the Clone Wars they have Oh no, I'm thinking of Darth Bane.
Mune.
Yeah, Plagueis should still be Mune. Everybody thought that Snoke was.
I say
Plagueis.
Mune.
Mune.
Right.
Mune.
They are such a cool design, and they're like almost 7 feet tall. So
Yeah.
I know. I thought they
Makes
were
for a good bad guy.
that'll look.
Well,
good
I don't know
in
the
live
pronunciation. Somebody can comment that in the comments, so we can have our first comment that's not from one of us.
Yes, throw your theories and predictions down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe.
Oh, no, stop asking.
All right, that's
I will
enough.
strike you with this lightsaber.
That is enough for this episode. And remember, always
bring your own lightsaber.